Hey everyone, I'm Daleen Hassan. Welcome to the show. This week, Inspire Middle East is reading between the lines with some of the region's best political cartoonists, analyzing art's power to socially impact from Sudan and Egypt to Europe.
I believe cartooning will always be a strong message.
Stay tuned, as later we'll discover how Arab children are both learning and entertained thanks to locally made cartoons in Jordan and the UAE. But first, Rebecca McLaughlin-Easton examines how fearless political cartoonists in the region have been drawing the fire of those in power for decades. Here is the story.
Cartoons are hugely popular in the Middle East and North Africa, and arguably one of the best-known regional satirists was Palestinian Naji Al-Ali, who from the 1960s onwards fearlessly criticized Arab regimes and Israel in his artwork until his assassination in 1987. The lot of political cartoonists in the region is not an easy one. Many face censorship, others persecution, imprisonment or worse for putting pen to paper. Political artist Khalid Albeh lives in Denmark, his caricatures and criticism of former President Omar al-Bashir having made it impossible for him to live in his homeland. Romanian-born and Qatar-raised, the Sudanese son of a diplomat has always been surrounded by politics. And through countless exhibitions and via social media, the activist has been tirelessly trying to dispel mistruths about Sudan and the wider region, with his work most famously reused and reposted by protesters and street artists during the Arab Spring. Always keen to connect the global artistic community, Khalid founded a digital platform called Fada, putting artists in touch with patrons, offering them spaces to showcase their work. His aim to foster a creative sharing community in the MENA region and promote their freedom of speech. To hear more about his work, I connected with Khalid from Europe. Khalid, thank you so much for joining me from Copenhagen on Inspire Middle East.
Thank you very much for having me.
You believe that freedom of speech is both a weapon and a power that political artists and cartoonists like yourself have. But what responsibility comes with that power?
Freedom of speech is a big issue, and there's a lot of debate around it about limits and that you give yourself or others give you. But I think for an independent political cartoonist, the most important thing is knowledge. I think it's knowledge of what you're talking about, what the implications of whatever you do, whatever you say could be, and what do you want to do with that power. I think that's very important.
The Arab Spring triggered a political revolution, but also a creative and a social media one. You shot to fame during that period. Do you still believe that political cartooning or the satirical artwork that you do is a potent and a powerful catalyst for change?
I think the Arab Spring was, of course, in my lifetime, was one of the most important events that happened that my generation took part on. And mostly art was in the forefront of that. And, for me, the Arab Spring is still going on. The outcomes of that are still happening, and in different ways, but it's still there. I believe cartooning will always be a strong message because it's a strong way to convey a message. Because with cartooning, it's definitely, it's in the middle. It's not journalism, and it's not fully on art, right? So we talk to everyone.
From where you sit and work in Denmark and looking at the Sudanese diaspora, how connected are they to political events that have taken place in your homeland in recent years?
The Sudanese diaspora, I think, had a huge impact on what happened in Sudan last year, which is the revolution that toppled 30-year dictatorship of Omar al-Bashir. Basically, what we did as diaspora is try to magnify that, try to tell the world about what's going on, try to tell the world about this place called Sudan, where most of the news you hear of is negative, and now we're trying to turn it into a positive with a peaceful revolution, as far away as possible of starting another war, because we all know what could be of this country, what could be of this nation, and what good can we be for the world as well.
One of Egypt's most famous and influential female cartoonists is Doa Al-Adel, who is bravely drawing lines through global religious and political stereotypes and highlighting the plight of women in her country, touching upon socially taboo topics like divorce and domestic violence. Starting out 13 years ago, challenges have come in more recent times, from political and religious groups threatening her personal safety and looking to silence her. If anything, she says, the opposite has happened.
When the Muslim Brotherhood were in power, I drew against them, I criticized them, and they accused me that I insult Islam, which is not true because I criticize the way you mix the religion with politics. They all the time use religion to convince people about something in politics. So I keep going and I drew more cartoons.
And whilst political cartoonists like Khalid and Doa may draw much criticism from some quarters, the attention they are drawing to important issues in their country would seem to paint a far bigger picture.
We turn our attention to younger audience members now, looking at the influence cartoons can have in shaping their personal and cultural identity. Salim Said has this story on the colorful characters inspiring confidence in children across the Middle East and North Africa. Take a look.
The Smurfs and Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood from North America are just some of the cartoons that children around the world are growing up with today. This includes children in the Middle East and North Africa. Yet for them, the cartoon characters don't resemble them or speak the same language. Unable to find educational and entertaining content to teach his son Arabic, Jordanian father Ibrahim Taha created his own. While strumming his guitar and singing songs, his son Adam tuned in, which inspired the animated cartoon Adam wa Mishmish.
I think with the Arabic language, the content is weak, especially when it comes to music. I don't understand why we always go for the cheap sounding keyboard and then the high nasally voice that's talking down to children, not to children. This is like what Adam Mishmish is about. It's about writing intelligent music for intelligent children.
The animated series in modern standard Arabic features Adam, whose stuffed toy Mishmish comes to life in his dreams. And the two embark upon adventures, learning life lessons through song. Today, there are 8 seasons of Adam wa Mishmish on TV, online and on social media, teaching children worldwide their numbers, letters, and about musical instruments, highlighting Arab culture, which Luma, Adam's mother and the CEO of the program, says teaches a bigger lesson about loving who they are.
I think we have this complex as Arabs that we're lesser than so-and-so or the Western countries, and we never really watch something of high quality that represents us. And so you end up feeling a bit resentful about it, and then at the same time, a bit lesser than.
Representation in media from an early age is key to establishing a child's self-worth, according to research from Tufts University, which cites that when children witness negative or no representation of people that look and speak like them, it can make them feel invisible and evoke feelings of shame that carry through to adulthood. That's why it was important for Syrian-born Reem, a cartoon character designer at Warner Brothers Entertainment in Los Angeles, to teach children how to draw animated characters and more in Arabic and from a familiar face.
That builds confidence in kids that like someone who looks like me, who speaks like me, can become somebody like important or like can create.
Creating empowering and educational content for children is something the UAE has been doing for around 40 years, with the much-loved comic and cartoon character, Majid. Since the 1980s, children spanning the Middle East have grown up with the 11-year-old and his friends. Today, the animated Emirati adventurer's profile is getting even bigger with the multi-platform Majid universe, which integrates TV, digital and print entertainment, better connecting Arab children with their smart devices through unique storytelling, cartoons, and live-action programming. To discover what engages media-savvy children today, I went to the Majid headquarters in Abu Dhabi to meet the experts. The media company conducted its own research using focus groups, and what they learned changed the nature of their children's programming.
They felt content, Arabic content was always very preachy, was always very too informative that they just shut down. And this completely changed the way we wrote scripts, the way we thought about characters.
Creating imperfect, complex characters with humor resonated with Arab children, says Maryam. Strong voiceover actors were drafted in too, like 13-year-old Muhammad, who plays Fatin, a young boy with a strong thirst for knowledge.
Every show, it have a story and have like something to learn.
Accompanying him on the show is Fatin's menacing sister, Dana, played by 11-year-old voice actor Maryam, who says she identifies with her character.
Like, I want to hit my brother when she wants to hit her brother. Like, she's a little bit feisty like me.
In the UAE, Arabic language cartoons make up less than 30% of the total children's shows aired in the country. Majid intends to keep delivering memorable, relatable content to Arab children, which will truly leave a lasting impression.
Well, that's all for this week. We hope you enjoyed it, and do catch all of our episodes online at Euronews.com. Before I sign off, here are some Instagrammers that drew our attention this week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Tony from Lebanon animated these ladies cooking Arabic date cookies via Zoom. Dubai-based Palestinian artist Dina drew this mural to illustrate the Emirati people. And Jordanian illustrator Nada painted this mural at a pediatric clinic in Amman.